All right. Great day, great day, great day. It's me. It's me. Happy Friday. So today we're on another episode of Confessions of a King. And first episode was dope. I really enjoyed myself. So now I'm going into the second episode. And I want to talk about what it was like growing up being gaslit. You ready? I'm just gonna offend a couple of people, but I think it'll be alright. I think it'll be alright. This video is not to offend anybody, but it's just to have a conversation. Sometimes people are scared to have. Some people don't want to have because it's like we spend so much time trying to protect our families and protect image and protect legacy. And then, yeah, but the ones protecting the legacy always end up being hurt the most. So, remember I was saying in a video, I was talking about how it was a moment where I was told when I was with something going on, it was an event, and I was like, oh, I didn't know we were having one. I didn't know there was going to be one. Excuse me, not we. I didn't know there was going to be one. And the response was, well, you don't keep in touch. Last time I checked, I had stuff going on like everybody else. But it's crazy because people tend to, and I can tell by the conversation with people when they text me that they really don't think I got shit going on. They think that dialysis is just something that's small. They think they're trying to do dialysis and work and dealing with health issues that come along. Like, they don't get it. They think that they're the only person that's navigating life. I'm sorry, just because, and it's crazy because I was gaslit so much as a child to make it seem like my feelings didn't matter, or whether it was grief, especially with that grief thing. I remember, I remember when my grandmother passed away, it became about everybody else. I remember when my auntie passed away, it became about everybody else. And I'm just sitting here like, and I was there. Like, I was there on the front lines, like, through all the shit, you know? When my grandma was passing away, like, I was there at the hospital. Like, I was there. And out of all my siblings, I was the one that was with my grandma. I spent the most childhood time with my grandma. Outside of CJ and Nevaeh, like, we were the ones that spent more childhood time with my grandma. But I was the only child that got to spend time with my grandma in her prime. I got to spend time with my grandma when she was up and around, moving and still working. And I got that time with her. My grandma helped raise me. And then it was like, it became about, I remember hearing the comment, who is Taylor going to talk to now? And that's my cousin. Point blank in the period. And I was like, well, damn, that was my grandma. But it was kind of even like hearing like that was your mom's mom, and then hearing, make sure you look out for your mom. And I'm just in here like I'm trying, but it's like also it's like, damn, it's like I'm hurting too. Remember when my auntie passed away, I will always sit there and say like that hurt. Like that hurt. That was losing a lot of people in one for me. Like, my auntie was my therapist. My auntie was my therapist. My auntie was my sister. She was one of my first best friends. Like, my auntie and I have been through some shit, but my auntie's always been my auntie no matter what. It's just crazy because it's like I lost more than just an auntie, I also lost a confidant, and I think that so many people found opportunities to make it about them, but then to push me aside as if my feelings didn't matter or my grief wasn't important. So it's crazy because any other time I've dealt with grief, my auntie was the one that was there for me. Like, she was the one that was always there, like listening to me, crying when my grandma passed. When my grandma passed away, we cried so many times together. So I got to say, like, it was so many people that made it feel like it wasn't important. My auntie made it feel like how I felt was important because she got it. From the first time I experienced losing someone, my auntie was there by my side. So it was like, when my auntie passed away, it was weird because nobody ever, and I said this before, my glasses off, I said this before, I had said, she helped me grieve everybody else, but she never prepared me for the day I'd have to grieve her. And grieving her, it wasn't no time to prepare. It wasn't no time to really process, because you still felt like it was hope. And then by the time hope came, okay, that's another video for another day. Sorry. That was my girl. But it was like, to me, it made it feel like everybody else's grief was more important than mine. And I personally felt like the only excuse me. I personally felt like the only person's grief that was more important than mine in my book that I had to look out for was my cousin, her son. And I made sure that I was by his side. I made sure that I was supportive. I made sure that I was there by his side until he had to go to the bus station or the train station. And once I got him to the train, once I got him to the train station, I could finally let go, and I could finally deal with what I was feeling. But I didn't come back to work. But I watched other people took credit for the things that I did. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, you know? And then, just growing up feeling like my feelings weren't important and being gaslit made it feel like I had no reason to feel how I felt. Or hearing someone say when someone passed away, that was mine. Like, baby, don't you realize I'm related to this person too? That was my mama, that was my sister, that was my nephew, that was my cousin, that was my this, that was... Okay, baby, you can have it. The grief is all yours. You get to be on the front lines. You are the only person that's hurting. But even just the, like, I don't know. It's like, it's hard to, it's just so hard. It's hard to go into it without going into it. But it's just, this is my confessions. But it's like growing up with, my parents did it too. A lot. My dad doesn't do it no more. My dad is very straightforward. My mother, on the other hand, she still does it. Not gonna say it doesn't hurt, but it's just one of those things where I've spent so many years having to break that habit of allowing them to gaslight me and not sit there, no, we're not gonna do that. This is the truth. We're gonna walk in truth. And when I feel like the truth is not gonna be walked in, I walk away. I'm not having a conversation. I'm not doing it with anybody. And that goes for my grandmother, that goes for my aunties who's still living, that goes for any of my elders, great cousins, regular cousins. I'm not gonna get gaslit into feeling bad about anything that I'm doing. Not. Especially when y'all get to do what the fuck y'all want to do with no consequences. I've watched people do whatever they want to do, and people gave them sympathy after sympathy after sympathy, and excuse after excuse after excuse. And I'm just sitting here like, even like I used to watch certain family members get tag team on, and it became like, okay, well, one person's like them, we all don't like them. And I don't do that. I don't believe in that. If I like you, I like you. Can't nobody tell me not to like you or not to talk to you. That's not how I move. And even when dealing with how can I describe it? I had a situation, this was maybe 10 years ago, and to this day I got a cousin that's not talking to me. And I got a cousin not talking to me for something that I didn't do, and I wasn't wrong for it. My auntie had told me, I was engaged at one point in time, and my auntie had told me that a family member of mine wasn't going to come to my wedding when I got married. And mind you, this family member is old school, and I'm just like, I'm not hurt. I don't care. And certain people in my family found I had a discussion with two people that were really close with me, and somehow or another, it got back to other family members, particularly my elders. And they didn't like this particular auntie, so they took it as an opportunity to go after her, and they did. And I'm sitting there taken aback when I get a phone call, and I'm confused. I'm like, whoa, what is this? I'm like, what is really going on? I'm like, why is everybody upset? Why is everybody upset about something that I personally don't give a fuck about? But everybody was just up in arms because they had an excuse to make. I remember somebody sat there and told me how I felt. Told me, well, I know you were hurt. No, I wasn't. Lil Russ, when you tell me you didn't feel nothing, no, I didn't. Because my perception on me getting married, something I had wanted to do, something I've been waiting for, I didn't give a fuck who was going to be there, who was not going to be there. And the ones that were so upset and all up in arms weren't even going to be invited to my wedding because I didn't want the shit that came along with them. That's me. So that was my mentality towards the situation. Baby, why did I become the bad guy? my auntie went to defend herself, and then it became my fault. So it went from everybody taking up for me to my auntie defending herself. My auntie defending herself because she wasn't in the wrong for telling me I don't care. And I kept telling her this, she wasn't in the wrong. She told me some great advice. She said, and it's crazy, my auntie said, just because people don't show up does not mean they don't love you. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was trying to give me a heads up for what was to come. And I appreciated it. Nobody else is going to do that shit. Other people are going to let me hurt and cry. That's simple as that. But she gave me a heads up, but also taught me a lesson as well. You know, so it was cool. And everybody got so up in arms. And I remember it was like everybody went from defending me to attacking her, to her defending herself, to me saying, I'm not with this. I can't support this. Y'all are tripping. Like, why are y'all bothering her? And then I became wrong saying that I was betraying family, but it was all my family that was involved. And I wasn't picking and choosing because in that moment, okay, boom, we always choose our family over outsiders, hands down. But this time, this was inside. Like, this is inside family. Like, this isn't just distant cousins and relatives. No, this is like inside family. And I'm like, I can't pick sides. Because then when we go into that realm or that rank of family, we have to go off of what's right and what's wrong. And I was going off of what was right and what was wrong. And they were wrong. And it's crazy. I kept trying to figure out who was the one that really started this mess. And it's crazy. Everybody was protecting whoever told whoever. Well, I can't say who. Because I'm trying to figure out, like, in the bottom of, like, how did all this get blown out of proportion? And in my method, because mind you, my mentality was, I need to know who. So I can understand why they did what they did. But nobody's saying, I'm trying to figure out the who, but it's important to me. And everybody's focused on why I'm not jumping in. Y'all aren't going to steal my joy of being excited about getting engaged. Like, what the fuck? So it just turned really, really bad. And I was gaslit into believing that it was my fault. And it wasn't my fault. Like, it was my fault. It was my fault for finding out. It was my fault for not caring. It was my fault for not picking sides. It was my fault. And I'm just sitting here like, oh my God. And I went around for a long time not wanting to do anything with my family because it was like I was made to feel the bad guy in a situation that I did not cause. And even everybody in the middle was making it seem like it was my fault. Well, you shouldn't have said nothing. What the hell? It wasn't that deep to me. It was my business. Mind you, all this stuff that I'm talking about is my business. So I have every right. I got every dog in the fight is mine because it's my business. But then I was made to feel like I was wrong for even communicating something about my business and not being upset the way that everybody wanted me to be upset. And I think that situation is what started to make me pull away from a lot of people. Because it was kind of like, y'all really did all that to me. And the crazy part about it is, my ex and I broke up, and it was a very, very traumatic breakup. And for all of them to have so much to say about being happy for me, none of them reached out to check out how I was doing when I had a mental breakdown. So it's triggering when you hear certain things, and it's like, I'm about to be 40 and people still try to use the same tactics. But then again, I've seen the same people that try to gaslight me. I've seen them do it to my parents, and then I see where they got it from, and then I see that a lot of times I've chosen to break that habit, while some of them are still stuck in those habits. I watch a lot of people in my family get stuck in that level. I mean, they get stuck in it. And me, I don't get. I refuse. I refuse. It's not that important to me. It's not. You got to stand up for yourself, make the decision and say, I'm not going to be gaslit anymore. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'm not going to feel this way anymore. I'm not going to. You have to say, I'm not going to let nobody, because we give them the power to make them feel like it's okay. We give our elders the power to make them feel like they can boss us around under the whole thing of, we got to respect our legacy. Not me. And that makes me a rebel, so be it. When it comes to gifts and talents and stuff, I feel like I can't even talk to them about my gift. I have the gift. I'm a dreamer. My daddy's side is from Louisiana. So a lot of people from Louisiana, they have stuff attached to them. And I realized it's attached to me too. I think I got a great aunt that gets it too. I'm not gonna say nobody's names, but I got one that I feel like gets it. Because every time I see her, I feel a little bit of it, and I feel like my gift intensifies. It's like I feel a surge of energy whenever I'm around her, and it's kind of like I'm getting replenished. It's like whatever energy she has is feeding into me to build me back up. And maybe I should talk to her about that. But yeah, my dad's side, Creole, Indian, and Black. So we got a lot of spiritual stuff attached to us. I think I'm just the only person that really walks in it. But I think me being a loner in a sense is why my gift moves how it moves, and the reason why I am the way that I am. But it also taught me how to break habits that some people were too scared to break. Yeah, growing up being gaslit was hard. But being an adult and they're still trying to gaslight you, and you know what gaslighting is so crazy. Because you look and you laugh and it's like, baby, that don't work over here in this church. Like, stop that girl. Like, girl, stop it. Sit down somewhere. But I will say, I did, when that situation happened with the engagement thing, I got one cousin, she and I did sit down and talk, and we got past it or whatnot, and she heard me out, and we got a great understanding of both sides, and I'm grateful. But it's crazy because she's my favorite cousin. It's my favorite cousin. So it's like, it was hurt when I was just like, she got into it with me, and I was like, whoa, sis, what is this? But my grandma passed away. Me and sat down and we talked, and I was grateful for it. So grateful for it. But it's other people that just sat there and they just tried to feel like it was water under the bridge. But I got another cousin I was close with. She's still not talking to me. The thing about it is, baby, I didn't do anything. You did it. You jumped in the fight. That wasn't your fight to jump into. But and some people sit there and say, why are you bringing that up? Because the shit, if you look at it, why are you still bringing it up? No, let's talk about it. Because y'all still move. Some people still move, and what happened? So, excuse me, people wonder why we don't talk. No, you're still holding on to it because you ain't sat there and picked up the phone to call me. I'm not gonna call you because you was pissed off at me. I was pissed off at you. I didn't give a fuck. But people still gaslight you and to make you feel like you were wrong. Don't live a life where you're stuck being gaslit. It's It's not right. It's not fair. I'm grateful because I do have a few family members that they get it and they don't do it. So something to think about. But yeah, that is my confession for the day. We're talking about growing up being gaslit. I had to hold back a little bit. As we do more videos, I'll start to go deeper and deeper and deeper. But I gotta make sure, because again, it still goes back to that mindset of protecting certain people in your family because you don't want people to look at them the wrong way, and as well as you don't want to make people feel it's okay to disrespect them. And that's my biggest thing. I never want to give people the opportunity to think it's okay to disrespect certain people in my family, because if you do, I gotta rock your shit. Sorry. No, sorry, not sorry. It's just kind of what's in me. But one day I'll be able to do it. But I want to do it when I feel like I can handle the responses from the people. But I love you all. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week.